minus? That's just a B in a tuxedo. Oh, what? So this kid turns in an essay. He gets it back a few days later. A minus. Solid, clean grade. He's feeling good until he gets in the car and shows his mom. Why is it not an A plus? I don't know. It's still an A. An A minus is just a fancy B. You're rewriting it. So that night, he rewrites the entire thing. Adds more quotes, changes the intro, tightens everything up. Next day, he turns it in again. The teacher's confused, but she said she'll take a look at it. 2 days later, the same result. Still an A minus. He shows his mom. You are doing it again. You're joking, right? Not until you get 100. Fix your tone, fix your grammar, and fix your mindset. He rewrites it again, turns it in. This is the third version. And the teacher pulls him aside. Hey, why do you keep resubmitting this? Your paper was excellent. I know. I'm just trying to survive, ma'am. She gives him the exact same grade, A minus again. He turns it into his mom. She just sighs and says, I give up. You must have done something wrong. And that's the day he learned. Sometimes it's not about the grade. It's about your mom's permanent disappointment. Poor kid. So you're all just gonna roast me? It's called growth, sweetie. This one mom had a rule for birthdays. No cake, no presents, not until after the truth session. Every year, the birthday kid had to sit in the middle of the living room, while each family member, siblings, parents, sometimes even grandma, went around and shared one thing they did not like about the birthday kid. You interrupt too much. You always finish the milk and leave the carton in the fridge. I hate you, grandson. It was a roast, but it wasn't funny. One year, this kid Daniel, he turned 11. He walked into the living room already nervous. All right, let's begin. First up was his little sister. You yelled at me when I was on your Minecraft world. Then his mom. You've gotten lazy with your posture this year. Then Dad. You've been selfish lately, son. Just think about that. Daniel's eyes start to water. Oh no, don't cry. This is to help you, not to hurt you. You may have your cake now. Go. And he barely touched the cake. The next year, Daniel pretended to be sick on his birthday to try to get out of this whole thing. But the mom just moved the truth session to his room, and they did it bedside. They said it was character building. He said it was the worst tradition of his life. This is what happens when you get locked in the school bathroom. So he asks to go to the bathroom. He walks down the empty hallway, pushes the bathroom door open, and does his business. But when he's ready to leave... What the heck? The door won't budge. It's like somebody locked it from the outside. He's pushing, pulling, nothing. He checks his phone. Crap, there's no signal in here. Now at this point, he's already been gone 8 minutes. So I guess he does the only logical thing. He looks at the ceiling. Crap. He steps on the sink, he pushes open the ceiling tile, and he army crawls through the drop ceiling. Now he thinks he's going towards the hallway, he hopes so, and right when he thinks he's above the hallway, he lifts the tile open, but he falls right through it. There you are. Right there was his teacher and the vice principal. What on earth are you doing? The bathroom door was locked, so you climbed through the ceiling? I mean, I couldn't just stay in there, right? Well, you could have knocked or yelled for help. Also, the bathroom's not locked. Here's what happened. When he got in the bathroom, did his business, he was about to leave, and he tried opening the door, but it wasn't the bathroom door, it was the supply closet door in the bathroom. They looked very similar. But he panicked, didn't look around to see if the actual door is right there, so he climbed through the ceiling. You know what? Just come to my office. You're getting detention. And he got a detention for property damage and making terrible decisions. Have you ever wondered how some parents can be so cruel? There was this family where the dad had a rule for everything. No phones at the dinner table. No friends over without a 48-hour notice. Bedtime at 9 p.m. sharp, even on weekends, no exceptions. And his teenage daughter had to keep a handwritten log of what she did every single hour of every single day. And if you don't do it, you're in big trouble. Which is completely insane. Well, one day, this girl forgot to log what she did after school, and her dad completely loses his mind. Takes her phone, her laptop, her journals, her books, and her TV, everything she enjoys, and he locks them in the garage. You can have them back when you write me an apology letter. Well, she wrote one. Not good enough, do it again. Then she wrote another one. Not good enough, do it again. She did it like 30 or 40 times before she just gave up. She never gets her stuff back. And the dad doesn't budge. He keeps saying, I told you, write me an acceptable apology and you get it back. But nothing was ever good enough for him. After this girl turned 18, she never spoke to her father ever again. And I think she's way better off. That's messed up. So it's this kid's birthday party. And his mom lets her sister, his aunt, make the cake since she's a baker. Well, everyone gathers around and the aunt brings out the cake. Well, the lid comes off and it says, "Happy birthday, Kyle and Jason." Kyle's the birthday kid. Jason isn't. Jason is his aunt's son, his cousin. The mom's like, "Are you serious? Why is your kid's name on my son's cake?" And the aunt shrugs. "It's fine. They can share. They can blow out the candles together." "Absolutely not. This is his birthday, not your son's." So what happened was Kyle's cousin Jason was incredibly spoiled, and he couldn't stand to be at another kid's birthday party. He had to make it about him as well. Well, the two sisters start arguing in front of the entire party, and everybody is incredibly uncomfortable. It looks like they're about to start throwing hands, when finally Kyle's mom says, "You know what? Take your cake and your spoiled kid and leave my frickin' house." The aunt storms out with the cake, and 10 minutes later, the dad comes in with a cake from Walmart, and the birthday party was saved. But the mom still hasn't talked to her sister since then. For real though, who would think that's okay? Here's what happens when you're a frickin' Karen. This lady's about to board a flight. She storms up to the counter and is waving her phone in the agent's face. Hi, yeah, I paid for priority and that better mean something good." Well, the desk agent said, "Ma'am, yes, this is economy plus, so you'll be boarding in group 2. Just a few minutes, okay?" Now, boarding hadn't even begun yet, but this lady loses it. I'm pretty sure I paid for a better plane ticket. You know what? I have so many followers. I'm gonna ruin you for this. This airline sucks. That's fine. Okay, I don't care. Just step back. Now, here's the thing. She threatens that she's gonna make a terrible video about the airline to ruin their reputation or to get this person fired. But no one cared. The thing is, that desk agent was actually gonna upgrade somebody to first class because there was one first class seat open. But now, it definitely wasn't gonna be her. Sir. Oh, yeah? What boarding group are you? Now, he's saying this loud enough for the lady to hear. Group 6. Well, it's your lucky day. I'm upgrading you to first class. And ma'am, I'm downgrading you to group 6. Now, this entire time, a bunch of other passengers were watching this thing go down. They were invested, and they cheered. What? Stop clapping! Screw you! And she threw a fit, and she was thrown out of the airport. Good. This is the best senior prank of all time. So at this one high school, nobody knew what the senior prank was going to be. Usually there's a warning or like someone's leaked it, but this year nothing. But right after second period, the school's front door opens and enters a mariachi band. 5 guys, full suits, giant instruments, and they start following the principal everywhere. It's kind of awesome. He's just walking normal, like checking things out. He's doing his job. He walks into a classroom mid-session. The band follows him in. The kids love it. By lunch, it's a full event. Kids got their phones out. They're filming him. They're following him around the hallways like a freaking parade. And the principal is eating this up. He thinks it's absolutely hilarious. And at the end of the day, the band leaves. And that was it. And nobody got in trouble because, let's be real, that was awesome. Like I said, brilliant senior prank. 1 week before winter break, the principal called an assembly. If the entire school can go 1 whole week without any write-ups, on Friday will be a free day. Students were like, all right, heck yeah. Nobody thought they would actually do it because that sounds almost impossible. The entire school behaving well enough to not get write-ups. But 3 days in, it was working. I can't believe everyone's going along with this. It's nice. I got milk in my backpack. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, everybody behaved. For the most of Thursday, things were going fine. But people were like, holy crap. We're gonna do this. So of course there was one kid that couldn't help himself. Yo, dude, you good? I think I'm gonna ruin it. No, you're not. You're fine, dude. Just don't do anything. No, I wanna ruin it. It was 10 minutes before the bell rings. This kid goes in front of the principal's office and picks a fight with the secretary. I'm gonna leave early. No, you're not. You don't have a note. Yeah? Well, note this. Did you just knock over my pencil holder? Shut up, idiot. That's it. You are getting a write-up. Principal comes out, this kid gets a write-up, and the entire week was a waste. Friday wasn't a free day. And once the rest of the students found out what this kid did, they gave him hell for the rest of the year. Why would he do that? Attendance office. Yeah, I'm calling about the high school for sale. Excuse me? But this kid lists the entire high school on Craigslist. Yep, puts it up there just like a house. Multiple acres, Olympic-sized track, full gym, swimming pool, great natural light. And for the contact number, he puts down the attendance office. On purpose, because everyone hated the receptionist. So for the next 3 days, she's just picking up, like, attendance office. Yeah, I saw the listing for the property. Is it still available? What listing? The high school for sale with a pool? Call after call, people asking for showings. One guy said, yeah, I'm thinking about turning the gym into my own personal dojo. And hey, maybe you could even stop by once it's ready. What do you say, huh? You, me, champagne? Huh? Oh my God. It got so bad the school had to change the number of the attendance office permanently because these calls kept coming in. And the kid, he never confessed. To that school, he remained anonymous. And there were some copycat Craigslist ads after that, so the calls never really stopped for a while. It eventually fizzled out, but every time that phone rang, the receptionist's heart would sink. That's actually hilarious. The school made an announcement. Redesign the school logo and turn it in. The winner's logo gets to be the official logo. Every art kid in the school goes feral. People busted out their iPads, sketchbooks. They're working really hard on trying to create this new school logo. But then there's Evan, Shibby. Evan doesn't care. His friend dared him to make something and turn it in. So Evan designs the dumbest thing that he could think of. A circle with a weird looking bird inside of it that looks like it's mid-sneeze. That's so dumb. Here, he submits it. A week later, the principal gets on the school intercom. We have chosen our new school logo. Everyone report to the gym. Everyone goes to the gym. Everyone's eager to see whose logo made it. They did a countdown. 3, 2, 1. And then they projected it. It's Evan's frickin' doodle. The bird, the circle, the sneeze. The whole gym goes dead silent. And then everybody erupts. Oh, Bro's a genius. Yo, Evan cooked. Make him class president. Teachers are clapping. They print it out on shirts. It's being sold at the sports games. It's on the website. It's on the gym floor. This logo is everywhere. And Evan becomes an absolute frickin' legend. I'm a frickin' legend. Why is the principal sprinting down the hall? He's here! Because the mayor's here. So the mayor was coming to visit this school. Everybody's acting that the Queen of England's gonna show up. And the week before, there was an actual assembly. The principal gets on the stage and he goes, please do not pull the fire alarm during the mayor's visit unless there's an actual fire, okay? Everyone just kind of looks around and is like, why would he say that? Was somebody planning to? Thing is, there hasn't been a single fire drill in months, let alone somebody actually pulling it. No one had even thought about it. Of course, until now. Day of the visit, school is spotless. The staff is in full PR mode and the mayor's shaking hands. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm the mayor. Thanks for having me, I'm the mayor. And then it goes off. The mayor's mid-photo like, oh, what? Teachers are sprinting, the principal's yelling, no. And the best part's nobody's panicking. The students aren't panicking at all. They calmly line up and walk out. They're like, of course this would happen today, of course. Eventually they found the kid who did this. All he says is, they made such a big deal about it, I had to do it. I just had to do it. And that's how the mayor's visit became a school-wide evacuation. It was said with a straight face, it is not mathematically possible for you to pass this class. It was senior year, the final semester. This kid was failing calculus so bad that looking at his grades made him want to puke. Yeah, he messed up, he didn't do a lot of the homework assignments, he didn't study for a lot of the tests, but now the year's almost over, and if he doesn't pass this class, he doesn't graduate. So one day, he walks up to the teacher and asks her this, hey miss, is there still a chance I could pass this class at all? The teacher just says this, well Stephen, at this point, I don't think it's mathematically possible for you to pass this class. Are you sure about this? Well, I'm a calculus teacher, so yeah, I'm sure. Well, despite this information, this kid still busted his butt for the last month of school, paid attention in class, asked a bunch of questions, studied for the final, got a C on the final. And guess what happens? He gets his final grade, and it's a 60%. That's a D, and that is still passing. The teacher saw his effort that last month of school and bumped his grade up for him. And after the final grades were posted, this teacher emailed him. All the email said was, sometimes math isn't about the numbers, it's about the effort. Honestly, gotta respect that teacher. It's kind of sad. There's this freshman kid at a new school. He's smart, he's quiet, but he's convinced that the only way people will like him is if he gives them something. So he gives everything. Answers for worksheets, extra help on projects. He does other people's homework to make it easier on them. People thank him in the moment and they're grateful, but that's about it. Nobody actually wants to hang out with him. One day after school, he's venting to his mom. People only talk to me when I give them something, and then they never want to hang out with me. He's saying stuff like how he thought he had friends, but it turns out he actually has none. She listens, and then blurts out words without even thinking. Well, maybe they don't hang out with you because you're basically a doormat. A doormat. He goes quiet and nods, and he goes to his room, and he cries himself to sleep. That's sad, dude. You skipped school yesterday. Yeah, I know. I have the perfect punishment for you. So this kid skipped school one day, and he wasn't even subtle about it. He didn't fake sick, he didn't have a note, he just didn't show up. And he was posting Snapchats during the school day of him at like McDonald's, riding his bike in the park, playing video games, and that got to the principal. So the principal was like, yo, this dude is dead. Next morning, he walks in and he gets called to the office. The principal's waiting. You skipped school yesterday. Yeah, you know what that means. Makeup work? No, suspension. So I didn't come to school yesterday. Correct. And now you're punishing me by telling me not to come to school. Exactly. You're suspended. We'll see you next week. He walks out confused, like, is that even a punishment? He got suspended for 2 days, so Thursday and Friday were off, then he had the weekend. It was a nice long weekend for him. The best part, his parents were working late all week. So he literally just stayed home, ate cereal, and played Xbox. Now, I'm not advocating going to get suspended to stay home and do stuff. I'm just saying, for this offense, for skipping school, getting suspended feels like a really weird punishment. An in-school suspension probably be better, but I don't know. It was just crazy to me. What do you guys think? This teacher was insane for this. This class had just finished reading Lord of the Flies in English, and the teacher? She was passionate. Maybe too passionate. So after they had finished reading this Lord of the Flies, the next day she tells them this. Class, we are going into the woods tomorrow. Bring a backpack full of things. We're gonna live like the boys on the island. So next day they come with backpacks full of stuff and they head to the woods. No rules, no roles, just chaos. She hands them bandanas and points to the woods behind the school. All right, go. One teacher and 20 students. And these weren't just regular kids. Somebody brought a pillowcase full of flour and was whacking people with it. Another kid filled a spray bottle with perfume and was spraying in another kid's eyes, trying to blind them. Take that. Soon there was turf wars, alliances, groups getting ambushed. Kids were using mud as war paint. They were getting feral. And the teacher was just standing there at the edge of the woods watching this go down like it's some sort of social experiment. Yes. 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 And it went way too far. Kids were getting bloody noses, one person was throwing up profusely, I don't know why, and the teacher didn't get in trouble for this, not even like a warning or anything. The principal didn't even know about any of this until a parent called a couple days later, but he still did nothing. And the crazy part is, the next year, this teacher did the same exact thing. Honestly, that sounds kind of fun. Yo, do you sell gum? Nah, it's a subscription service. And that's what he called it, a gum subscription box. It all started because school banned gum, a hard ban. You got caught, detention, no questions asked. So this kid, Dorian, he builds a workaround. He doesn't sell gum directly. Like there's no handoffs in the hallway, none of that stuff. Instead, he offers subscriptions. You pay him on Monday, and every morning that week, a sealed envelope shows up in your locker. Inside, exactly what you ordered. Each envelope was coded by flavor. Green dot, spearmint. Pink dot, bubblegum. Orange dot, citrus. He called it drop-safe packaging. He never handled gum during the school day, only in the mornings, and he never spoke with customers after Monday. So they would give him their orders. Yeah, I want my weekly subscription. Every day I want 2 spearmint and 1 citrus. Bet. You? By week 3, half the 7th grade was on a plan. Teachers start noticing gum under desks, students secretly chewing gum in class, but no one ever sees where the gum comes from. They assumed it was coming from somebody because there was hardly any gum-related incidents before, and all of a sudden, everyone's chewing gum and there's gum under a bunch of desks. So they started pressing. Where'd you get this? I don't know, it was in my locker. They tried to trace it back, but these envelopes were very mysterious. Well, this is how everything ended. He was caught by a parent. A mom found one of his subscription envelopes in the laundry. She thought it was something very shady and she called the school. The admins did some investigating and they found some students who they pressed. And they snitched. This kid got shut down. In-school suspension for 3 days, and he had to write apology letters. But in just under a month, he made over $400. You gotta respect the hustle. Recess used to be the best part of the day, but this school ruined it. It started after one kid tripped during freeze tag. The kid hit his head, and the school banned running.
You guys can still play tag, okay? Just walking tag.
Walking tag? What the heck?
So the kids pushed through. They were power shuffling, they were speed walking, they were kind of like twirling around, they weren't running. Well, a girl pivoted too weirdly and she twisted her ankle. So then tag was banned. The kids were like, alright, fine, let's switch to something else. So everyone began to jump rope. Well, as they were going around one day, the rope hit and smacked somebody in the eye, and she was pretty injured, I guess. Then jump ropes. They were banned. They tried catch, but one day the ball hit a teacher.
Ow! Hey, no more balls!
So they started tossing around pine cones, and then they had to stop doing that. So finally, one kid brings Uno. Surely this is gonna be fine. But one day they were having a pretty intense Uno game, and everyone began arguing, and it was almost a full-blown fist fight.
No, man, you are an absolute cheater. I didn't cheat, Steven. Screw you. You smell like crap.
That's it.
Uno and any other game like that was then banned as well. By spring, there was like nothing they can do. No balls, no ropes, no running, no cards, no pine cones. And at some point, it stopped being recess. It was just kids walking around aimlessly under adult supervision. No talking in groups, absolutely no messing around. They started calling it the yard, like a prison yard. And that's exactly what it looked like. I mean, come on. What's recess without a little risk? This school's cafeteria food sucked. So this one school randomly decides that all the cafeteria food has to be low sodium, which really meant
this food tastes like cardboard.
Everything was bland. No pepper, no salt, no sauces, no ranch, no ketchup. Nothing was available to make this food any better. And soon enough, kids are straight up just skipping lunch. But this one kid, Jules, finds a way to beat the system. He goes to the store and he buys a packet of these tiny little hot sauces. Sriracha, there's Taco Bell fire sauce, mango habanero, and this strange green one that's just called the Monster. At first, he just shares it with his table, but then kids started offering him money for squeezes of these hot sauces.
$1 for 2 squeezes. No refunds.
Yeah, that's a pretty ridiculous price for 2 squeezes of a hot sauce, but like I said, the food was so freaking bland that people were doing anything to enjoy their lunch. And guess what? Business began booming. First day, he makes $8. The next day, he made $12. By Friday, he's got repeat customers, you know? People are wanting hot sauce left and right. He's having to buy new batches.
Hey, what is that?
Well, not long after he started, a lunch lady caught him and sent him to the principal. And the entire thing was shut down. But the principal did tell him,
Hey, Jules, one more thing before you go to detention.
Yeah?
I respect your hustle.
And you gotta respect that he respected that kid's hustle. She's not breathing. I'm calling 911. This happened junior year. Middle of class, the teacher collapses. Hits the ground hard. It wasn't a fall. It was a full-blown cardiac arrest. One student jumps up, grabs their phone and dials 911. Yes, my teacher collapsed. I don't think he's breathing. Can they guide him while he gives chest compressions? Stay with me, teach. Stay with me, teach. Ambulance comes, they take the teacher's life is saved, and guess what the school does? They suspend that student. You're suspended. You broke the rules. School staff is supposed to approve all emergency calls. Are you kidding me? That was the actual policy. If something happened, you were supposed to go find a school admin, report the crisis, wait for a call to be authorized, and then somebody can call 911. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This kid's teacher was literally dying on the floor, and he got in trouble for calling 911 to save his life. And get this, later that same year, another kid has a seizure, cracks their head on the floor, the whole class is screaming, and it takes the school 30 minutes to approve the call. Sounds like they didn't really care about emergencies. They cared about control. And that is so messed up. It's 7th grade and this kid Lucas brings a bunch of Costco gum to school. Tons of packs. Every single flavor. And he never made a big deal about it, but he would pull them out here and there so that people could see. And naturally, they would ask for a piece of gum. And when they did, 50 cents. Oh, I don't have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Pay me later. And that was his thing. You know, at first, people were like, he's not going to ask for that money later, you know? It's just a piece of gum. But that's where they were completely wrong. Because after he would give someone a piece of gum and say, pay me later, he would pull out a tiny notebook and write down the debt in that notebook. Everybody had a tab. Their name, their flavor, and how much they owed. But the thing is, he wanted this debt to grow. He would walk up to them. Hey, so you still owe me from last week, but I just got this crazy new watermelon flavor. You want a piece? I'll just put it on your tab. And he just kept stacking debt on top of debt on top of debt. Until finally he decided it was time to collect. He goes to the 2 biggest kids in class. Carl? Mordecai? Yeah. I'll give you 10%. Here's the list. Get me my money. And they would go around school with a list. Hey, you got Lucas's money? I'm here to collect. And these kids were big and intimidating, and people did pay him back. Lucas made like $175 before this whole thing was shut down. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess. So this school was doing Spirit Week. You know, Pajama Day, Wacky Wednesday, stuff like that. Well, on Wacky Wednesday, this one kid showed up in a full suit of armor. Boots, gloves, gauntlets, the whole thing, 3 layers, night helmet. It was epic. And the school let him keep it on. Well, after second period, these 3 8th graders, who were the school bullies, decided to make fun of him. Hey, nice outfit, Tin Man. What you got under there? Yeah, nice outfit, metal boy. Well, he's just standing there, not saying a word. The bullies didn't like this, so they start to attack him. What's your problem, dude? Yeah, what's your problem? My foot. One punches his shoulder, his hand is shaking, it might be broken. Some kid kicks him in the groin, his foot is hurting. And the third one, big guy, punches his knee and literally breaks his wrist. Ow! You're my foot! My foot! My wrist, guys? Guys, my wrist. It's broken. It's broken. Principal shows up and calls it a school fight. The kid in the armor gets suspended for a week, even though he did not touch any of them. He literally just stood there in his knight armor that the school let him wear. And the bullies, they didn't get in trouble at all. And that, my friends, is messed up. It's a slow Tuesday morning. This guy's working at the front of a bank. He's the security guard. And it's a fairly standard shift. Doop-ba-doop-ba-doo, I'm a security guard at the bank. Now, at a bank, most people come in, they do their thing, and then they leave. Well, one day, this guy came in, he was looking pretty sketchy. Walking into the bank. Oh, crap. He sees the security guard, and then he walks back outside. And the security guard is like, yo, this is kind of weird, so he kind of walks by the door. Well, this sus guy is pacing the sidewalk, and he's on the phone. He's obviously stressed. And the security guard overhears just one sentence. Nuh-uh, man, I am not doing this crap. You said nothing about a security guard. I will not take him out. Then, for a second, they make eye contact, and they stare at each other for a short while. And he's gone. The bank reports the situation immediately, but nothing ever actually happened, so they couldn't really do anything about it. But the security guard knew one thing. That guy was definitely gonna rob the bank that day if he wasn't there. And that's crazy. This kid shows up to second period and says, hey, what's up, guys? There was a deer stalking me in the parking lot. Oh, what? Yeah, I was walking into the building and I look over and this deer is just looking at me from behind a tree. I walk a little farther and there he is at a different tree, still staring at me. So of course, everybody starts making fun of this kid. They're calling him Deer Boy this entire class. And he's like, guys, this is so dumb. I saw a deer. Whatever. Third period starts. And all of a sudden, throughout the entire hall, you hear a giant crash. Guess what it was? A deer literally jumped through one of the classroom windows. Not like near the window, like through it. What was that? What happened? A freaking deer jumped through the classroom window. It's still in the room. Oh my God, he's coming for me. It was an absolutely absurd moment. Nobody knows what to do because this deer's kind of freaking out in this classroom. They don't know what to do with it. Well, this one teacher shows up, Mr. Redding. And apparently, Mr. Redding has had a lot of experience with deer. He somehow went in there, calmed it down, and walked it out of the school. How'd you do that, Mr. Redding? Well, I had a pet deer once. And he was my best friend. And after that, everybody stopped calling this kid Deer Boy because obviously there was a deer near the school and it jumped through the window. I wonder if it was coming for him. That's kind of freaky. You are not allowed in the nurse's office anymore. He thought she was joking. She wasn't. This kid got banned from medical care. So in 6th grade, there was this kid, let's call him Owen. Always had some weird stomach thing, or headache, or sore throat. Honestly, yeah, he faked it a lot. He'd go to the nurse's office like it was his part-time job. But one day the nurse goes, Owen, we've seen you 9 times this month. From now on, no more nurse visits unless it's an emergency. He's like, okay, what? Well, 2 weeks later, gym class. They're playing dodgeball and Owen face plants into the floor. He's seeing stars. He's holding his head. Oh, man, he's in a lot of pain. Coach goes, I'm going to take him to the nurse. He walks into the nurse's office, and the nurse literally said this. Coach, he's playing you. I promise you, he's playing you like a fiddle. He doesn't need the nurse right now. He's completely fine, okay? I don't want to hear it. I have a phone call in 5 minutes. Okay. So for sure, the nurse was being 1000% out of line there. Super dangerous. Anyway, Coach takes Owen back to the gym. How you feeling, buddy? You okay? Now Owen's slurring his words like, I'm fine. I think I just need a nap. Eventually, the coach freaks out. He doesn't even want to deal with the nurse anymore. You guys just sit in the bleachers for the rest of class, okay? I'm taking him to the hospital. He leaves the rest of the class there in the gym and he drives his kid to the hospital himself. Turns out, Owen actually had a mild concussion, and the coach doesn't take this lightly. He brings it up to the school board. The school board is now in panic mode. The nurse is being investigated. Owen is no longer banned from the nurse's office. This could have very well been a lawsuit. Owen fully recovered. But you know him, once he realized the nurse ban was off, he was still in there multiple times a week just to skip class. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This kid missed English class, first period. And he shows up to second period like nothing happened. People were wondering where he was. One of his friends leans in and asked, Yo, why'd you miss English class? We turned in our essays today. And the kid just goes, Oh, my cow was giving birth. Oh. He says it like it's the most normal thing ever. He still had mud on his boots, there was like hay coming out of his pockets, and he smelled a little weird. It was probably from that cow birth. People just nodded, like, okay, yeah, farm kid stuff. Okay. And so what if he missed English, you know? His essay wasn't gonna win any awards at the state fair anyway, but his cow might. Huh? Okay. When this dude was a kid, his mom made him memorize this phone number. Not hers, not his dad's, just the emergency number. He asked her once, whose number is this? If something bad ever happens and I'm not here, call this phone number. That was it. No explanation. So every week he would test himself. He would mouth the number silently in the mirror. He would write it over and over again in notebooks. It became this quiet obsession of his, like he couldn't stop thinking that one day he was gonna have to remember this number. Well, years passed, he never called it until one day in college. It just hit him. Yo, something just hit me. He still remembered every single digit, so he called the phone number. Big Dan's Pizza and Wings. Hello? I said Big Dan's Pizza and Wings. It was a pizza place. So he called his mom, he told her that he finally called that one phone number, and all she had to say was, oh, that place is still open. We loved their salad. Like, what does that even mean? One day, randomly, this kid told his teacher, my grandma died. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, that night, the teacher emails the mom. I just wanted to say, I'm thinking of your family. Deborah was such a good woman. May she rest in peace. The mom reads it, and she freezes. Wait, what? Her mother-in-law wasn't dead. She was literally at bingo that night. A few minutes later, a different mom from school calls her. We're all gonna miss her so much. She was such an incredible woman. No, I'm sorry, there must be some sort of confusion. She's not dead. By the end of the night, half of the neighborhood is sending their condolences. Everyone thinks Grandma's gone. This one family even dropped off a casserole. She then confronts her kid. Hi, did you tell everyone that Grandma died? Yes. Why? I don't actually know. The mom then calls her mother-in-law to warn her about this entire situation. Oh, hi, sweetie. B27. Crap. Hey, Deb, so apparently you died today? Oh, well, no one told me. That's good to know. G26. Bingo! Luke goes over to his friend Brad's house for the first time, and right away he can see that the family's pretty strange. This family's pretty strange. Nothing huge, just weird energy. The mom and dad are kinda weird, and the friend Brad keeps saying, hey, whatever you do, bro, do not sit in my dad's chair. Okay, I won't. They hang out all night playing video games, eating junk food, doing normal sleepover stuff. Eventually they go to bed. Then around like 2 in the morning, Luke wakes up to go to the bathroom. The house is completely dark and quiet. He walks into the hallway, half asleep. Then he hears something moving downstairs. Like scratching noises. So he looks down into the living room and he is shook. I'm shook. Because Brad's dad is crawling around on all fours. A full-grown man moving slowly around the carpet like a cat. But then it gets worse. The dad then jumps onto the chair, turned towards the family cat, and begins to lick the cat's head. He's grooming his cat. And the cat's just sitting there like, yep, this is normal. Luke said his brain just completely shut down. He ran out of that house, ran 2 blocks away, called his mom, and his mom came to pick him up. He never went to that house or talked to Luke ever again after that. Oh, that's insane. It was this kid's 3rd birthday party, and he did not care at all. So he was turning 3 and his parents went all out. Huge backyard party, like 50 people. Family, friends, cousins, neighbors, everybody was there. Everyone was eating cake, baby, playing games, presents stacked up. The kind of party parents throw because they know their kids are going to remember it forever. So that morning they gave this kid one of his gifts early.
Here, sweetie.
It's a little plastic toy lawnmower.
Lawnmower. I like it.
The kind that clicks when you push it, and he loves it instantly. He won't put it down, and they're thinking, good, great, best gift ever. So the party starts, people show up, kids are running around, everyone's having a fantastic time. And meanwhile, the birthday boy isn't anywhere near everybody because he's in the front yard, slowly mowing the lawn with his fake lawnmower. Just walking back and forth, pushing that little mower. He's completely locked in. And the party's happening in the backyard. Everyone's trying to get him involved. Like, hey, come on, buddy, come on, open some presents. Doesn't even respond, just keeps mowing the lawn. Hey, bud, it's your Uncle Joey. Come on, let's have some cake. Doesn't care. Eventually, people just start laughing because this entire time they're looking outside. This kid's just walking back and forth, mowing the lawn, could care less about his party. Then it comes time to sing happy birthday. They can't get him inside, so everyone else had to come out to the front yard and sing to him while he didn't listen and mowed the lawn instead. Actually, that's awesome. These two 12-year-olds started a lemonade stand one summer. And at first it was basic. Like they had the table, the sign, they were making lemonade, and people were buying it. They spent days perfecting the recipe. They were treating it like a chemistry project. But the thing is, the lemonade was incredible. Kids, this lemonade is incredible. People on their street loved it, but business began to slow down a lot. And then one of them goes, why are we selling this stuff to a cul-de-sac of 20 people when there's a whole downtown area? Good idea. Let's move shop. So one Saturday morning, they moved the entire operation downtown, middle of town square. And now they're selling BLT sandwiches. And business was absolutely booming. They're making so much money. Word spreads fast. There's lines. They're selling out. At one point, a nearby cafe owner goes, "You're putting us out of business, guys!" And the kids take that as a compliment. But then the city gets involved. Because apparently, once you start having this sort of business in a public downtown area, you need a license. Health inspectors show up. These two kids are just standing there like, we're 12. Inspector's like, doesn't matter. And the city shuts the stand down immediately for not having permits or licenses. But the kids made so much money that they got over it pretty quick. It's first grade and this kid's at a school assembly. The whole school is there. It's a very small school, kindergarten through 12th grade. And it's some educational assembly, like the frickin' Wiggles, trying to get students to learn in fun ways. Actors singing and dancing, they're trying way too hard to make learning look fun. And that's a rhombus. Well, this kid is barely paying attention. Because the night before this, he was watching Spider-Man cartoons, and he was thinking about an episode. So he's half asleep when one of the actors asks, "All right, students, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? Well, this kid's friend elbows him. He's messing with him. "Hey, bro, she called on you." So he raises his hand.
Okay.
She says, "Okay, what's the answer?"
What's the question?
"Who sailed the ocean blue in 1492? And instead of actually thinking about it, he said the first thing that comes to his mind, "Norman Virgil Osborne." No. Dead silence. Everyone's confused. Then one of the older kids says, "Did he just answer that question with the Green Goblin? That's hilarious!" And then suddenly the entire school starts cheering him on. They push him down to the middle of the gym and they tell him to dance. Dance! 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 They're chanting. The kid has no idea what to do, so he just busts a move. It was horrible. He was embarrassed and he left the gym. But honestly, that sounds like an awesome assembly. What is this? Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. So this one teacher, she always had a little black notebook on her desk. Said it was for classroom notes. Everybody assumed it meant grades or it was like a behavior log. No one thought twice, but it wasn't that. It was a burn book. Straight up page after page, trashing her students, all by name. One kid was labeled future con artist. One was fifth period manipulator, crybaby. One entry said, can't read social cues. Parents are either clueless or stupid. Like real crazy stuff. And nobody knew until parent-teacher conferences. One mom is sitting down at this teacher's desk for the meeting. The teacher had been flipping through some papers before and left the tiny little notebook open without even realizing it. She gets up and she says, "One second, I think I left your son's quiz folder in the copy room. I'll be right back." She leaves. The mom's sitting there, waiting. She glances at the teacher's desk, and she sees her kid's name at the top of a page of a tiny notebook. Manipulative, fake with adults, should be bullied, total snake? What is this? She flips a page. Another student. then another. Just tons of students being roasted in this little notebook by the teacher. She goes to the hallway and flags the parents in who are waiting for their time slot for the conference. By the time the teacher walks back in, all these parents are huddled around her desk reading this little black notebook. She was caught, red frickin' handed. All the teacher could say was this: conferences are over. She grabs a little notebook, puts it in her purse, and she leaves the room. And suddenly that teacher is on leave. And she's the stupid one, because the moment you write stuff down like that, you better be prepared for somebody to read it. And they did. That's nuts. You kids need to be more responsible. You first. In this one class, late homework gets you an immediate 0. No excuses, and this teacher was brutal about it too. If you can't turn it in on time, you fail. Life doesn't give you extensions, kids. And the thing is, she assigned homework all the time. You know, every week, new homework, the kids would turn it in, but then, listen to this, but then, nothing. No feedback, no grades, nothing gets returned to them. Well, one day, this kid named Johnny, he kinda snaps. Hey miss, just wondering, if life doesn't give you extensions, where's all of our graded homework from the last month? Excuse me, I'm very busy, Johnny. I have a life too, you know. Can't believe you. Well, you know what? Maybe you should finish your homework before you hand us out more, you hypocritical... Office? Now. That's fine, but I'm gonna tell Mr. Stevens that he should probably have a look inside your gradebook. Okay, bye. Funny enough, by the next morning, the student portal of that class had been completely updated. She had graded everything. And during class the next day, she changed the late work policy. I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. So one day in class, 2 kids are in the back of the classroom and they're whispering to each other. I told my cat that she's so funny when she does that. Dude, I have so much milk left over from last night. Suddenly, the teacher slams her hand on the desk and says, Jason, that's enough. The whole class freezes. But here's the thing, Jason wasn't even talking. He's sitting there mid-pencil stroke like, huh? I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. Now, a bunch of people saw who was actually whispering, but nobody said a word. Well, Jason takes the L in silence. The next day, there are some class presentations. Well, Jason walks up, he connects his slideshow, and slide 1 appears on the projector. The danger of classroom injustice. Oh boy, here we go. Then Jason starts reading from a flashcard. Let the record show, yesterday I was falsely accused of whispering. I was not whispering. I was taking notes. I was the victim. Slide 2. Confirmed witnesses. He lists 3 classmates. First and last names, alphabetical order. Next slide. Actual culprits. The final slide. And all I ask is for truth to matter again. Boom, presentation done. He gets a standing ovation. Even the teacher's smiling and laughing, and he gets a B+ on that assignment. The teacher then apologizes for accusing him of something he did not do. Respect. This teacher and this one kid argued every single day, constantly butting heads. Johnson, look at me. No, you look at me. It's one of those things where every single class, kids are just waiting for some crazy stuff to go down between these two. Well, one afternoon, this teacher is fed up with this kid and says, Johnson, if you keep talking, we're gonna have a problem. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. If you keep talking, I'm gonna call your mother. The kid just goes, do it. The teacher goes, oh, I will. My mom's gonna agree with me anyway. The teacher didn't like him talking back. You know what? Just go to the office right now. Go right now. Leave my classroom. Okay. He walks out of the classroom for 1 second, and then he comes back in. You know what? I'm gonna call my mom for you. He dials. It's on speakerphone. It's ringing, and his mom picks up. Hey, Mom. My teacher wants to talk to you. Teacher was panicked. Didn't know what to do. Oh. The entire class is laughing. Here, I'm gonna hand you over to her. She takes the phone, and she hangs up. Kid was still sent to the office, but she kinda looked like a joke after that. Yo, I think the cap fell off the milk. Oh, we always keep it like that. It's so the milk can breathe. I'm not drinking that. It was this dude's first time visiting his friend's house, and everything seemed normal for like 5 seconds, you know. He walks into the kitchen, and he notices that there are no lids on anything. No cap on the milk, no lid on the orange juice. Peanut butter jar open, the soap bottle open. Hey, you guys forgot to put the lids back on, everything. Nah, bro, my mom says lids trap bad energy. Everything's gotta breathe. Even the milk. Especially the milk. He watches in horror as his friend pours himself a glass of milk from the open jug. He sits down for dinner, and he notices this kid's mom is bringing over a jar of spaghetti that's been sitting out on the stove all day without a lid. And earlier in the day, he saw flies around it. She notices this kid's uncomfort. Oh, don't worry, sweetie. This is all still good. It's just had to breathe all day. At one point, he looks over to the kitchen counter and he sees the dog licking the butter that's sitting on the open butter tray. Hey, what? And nobody's saying a word about it. Throughout the entire meal, he's pushing his food around, pretending that he's eating it, but he's not gonna touch this stuff. And everybody else is chowing down like it's a Thanksgiving meal. After that, he always gave an excuse whenever he was invited back to that house. Oh, sorry, my mom said I can't, leave the house on Tuesdays. Because to him, one visit to the no-lid house was enough for a lifetime. Yeah. I agree. No snack, no participation points. But it's my birthday. This one teacher at this one school made a new rule. If your birthday falls on a school day, you have to bring a snack for the entire class. No exceptions. It didn't matter if your family couldn't afford it. It didn't matter if you forgot. If you didn't bring snacks, you would get your participation points docked for the whole week. And the teacher would call you out in front of everybody. So this one kid, Tyler, it's his birthday and it's a Tuesday. He doesn't bring anything. And the teacher just lights him up. Oh, no snacks for your friends, huh, Tyler? How selfish are you? The whole class is just staring at him. Tyler's just sitting there. I didn't even ask to be born. 2 days later is this girl Chloe's birthday. She felt bad for Tyler. And she came in that day and she followed the rules. Technically. She walks in with a sandwich bag full of Tic Tacs. 1 Tic Tac for each kid, individually handed out. For my beloved classmates, I brought you all a snack. Enjoy the feast. Class is dying. People are clapping. Teacher's trying to hold it together, but you can see the vein popping in her face. Okay, I see. You're making fun of me. You think this is a joke. It's okay. The whole class just starts mocking this teacher and the rule and praising Chloe for this hilarious kind of stunt she pulled. The teacher just snaps. Fine. You know what? Birthday snacks are canceled. Forgive me for trying to make everyone's birthday a fun time. I honestly can't believe you guys. Get over it. What a wild thing for a teacher to do. It's their birthday, yet they're getting in trouble if they don't bring snacks in. Get out of my face. As your president, I will eat this banana. So this kid, let's call him Luke. He's in 8th grade, 0 political ambition, and 0 cares about school elections. One day after gym, his friend is like, bro, you should run for class president. Why? I don't know, because nobody else is. Turns out, sign-ups were closing that day, and nobody else decided to run. So Luke, being Luke, he goes to the front office and he puts his name down. The next day, the announcements come on. Class elections this Friday. We have Luke, just Luke is running for president. And everyone just starts clowning this whole situation. People are making campaign posters. Vote for Luke. Or don't. It doesn't matter. He'll still win. Or Luke 2024. Bare minimum effort. And he's leaning into it. He's wearing a wrinkled suit jacket to school. Making campaign videos of him eating Lunchables in silence. Well, finally election day hits. And obviously Luke is elected to be the class president. And there's a little assembly at the end of the day. Well, Luke walks up to give a victory speech. He walks up to the mic, he's holding a banana like it's a trophy, peels it halfway, and he just starts eating it into the mic. The whole cafeteria is losing it, even the teachers are laughing. The principal's standing there, just trying to act like this is normal. Okay. And just like that, Luke is the official class president. He doesn't even know what his frickin' duties are. Well, the next week, the school council handed him a binder that said, School Student Government Responsibilities. And it was thick, like 3 inches thick. Meetings, proposals, school fundraiser events. Luke just looked at it, and that's when it hit him. He definitely made a massive mistake. This is everything. Ah. This girl goes to a sleepover at her friend's house. She's about 10 years old, and everything is normal. It's a nice house, it's a nice family. Nothing weird, but then bedtime rolls around, and that's when she notices something. You see, her friend has 5 brothers, and all 5 of them share one giant room. She walks past. It's filled with bunk beds. No decorations at all. No posters, nothing like that. It looks like a frickin' barracks. Then the mom starts getting everybody ready for bed. And apparently the boys had a nightly routine. All right, boys, line up. All 5 brothers line up. And she starts inspecting them one by one. Shirts tucked in? Good. Jeans on? Good. Belt fastened? Good. You all look very dapper. Now go to bed. And sends them off to bed. She asks her friend, do they do this every night? Her friend's like, yeah, every night. And just think about how weird that is. No pajamas. In fact, the mom is making them wear a t-shirt, jeans, and a belt to sleep. And then she notices something in there. Each of those bunk beds doesn't have a blanket on it. And the brothers acted like it was completely normal. Now you see, alarm bells are going off in my brain. Someone should probably call DCFS. Because that sounds sus. Miss, how are we supposed to know when it's due? You just are, okay? This one teacher was brutal. She wouldn't post due dates for anything. She wouldn't write instructions. She would just say it once out loud and expect you to remember everything. And if you didn't hear it or you missed the information, that sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? One day she assigns a huge project. She explains it once, she talks fast, there's no visual, no handout, and this one kid, he raises his hand. Wait, how are we supposed to, Josh, were you listening? Yeah, but then why are you asking? No one knows when it's due, what it's supposed to look like, it's total confusion. One person thinks he remembers the due date, one person remembers it differently, it's a mess. And from that moment on, Josh decides he's going to record everything this teacher says every single day, without her knowing. 2 weeks later, half the class gets zeros on this other project. There's no excuse for this, you guys, I told you exactly how I wanted it. Josh raises his hand. Actually, you didn't. Excuse me? He takes out his phone, fiddles with his recordings for a second, and then he presses play. It was her whole explanation for this project. It was loud, it didn't make any sense, and she was mumbling for half of it. So basically it's going to go on a big piece of paper or, like one of those things, and then you're going to make sure that you get everything down from the chapter, I think it was 9. Maybe it's 11. But put it all on. Hey, guys, quiet. All right, that's it. Let's move on. So are we all really getting zeros, or are you going to give us the instructions again? The next day, she handed out a printed rubric for that project, and she gave everyone a second chance to do it. And from that day forward, she always had printed out instructions for every single assignment and project. Yeah, as she should. Hey, you coming to gym class? Nah, man, I got court. Wait, what? This kid, 7th grade, shows up to school one day in a full-blown suit. Tie, dress shoes, everything. He's carrying a briefcase, everyone's confused, and he just goes, I got court during gym class today. Turns out, this kid started a full-blown student court system. He printed a summons, he made a self-made courtroom in the corner of the library, and he even made a logo. Every charge was student-related. Chewing annoyingly with your mouth open, cutting the lunch line, stealing pencils, and you could plead guilty or go to trial. State your case. She skipped me in line. Do you have any witnesses? Yes, Your Honor, 5 of them. People start requesting trials for dumb stuff. The teachers hear about it, and they think it's absolutely hilarious. Until one day, this kid was messing around and tried to summon the principal to court. For what? For having a terrible haircut. Yeah, the principal didn't take this very well, and he obviously shut it down right then and there. In total, this kid held 17 court cases. I don't know where he got out of all this, but it's honestly genius. This kid's dad freaked out. They're at the grocery store, shopping for their weekly groceries. Cereal, milk, frozen waffles, frozen pizza, lunch meat. Everything seems normal. Then they pull up to the aisle. They're at the cashier. He scans everything. All right, that'll be $125.64. The dad then goes into his pockets and pulls out this giant stack of coupons. Yeah, all right, here you go. Hands them to him super confident. The cashier starts scanning them. Beep, boop, beep, boop, bop, bop, beep. Then he goes, Sir, every single one of these is like 9 years old. Everyone expired. Super expired. Scan them again. Okay, beep, beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, boop. The beeps obviously came from the machine, not his mouth. But this is a video. But he says again, yeah, no, they're all expired. Dad starts raising his voice in front of everybody at the store. His kid is with him. He's like, Dad, please settle down. We're in public. This is absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense at all. You know what? I'm leaving. He then starts to push the cart out of the store. Dad, we have to pay. I'm not paying for anything. Now the kid is standing there by the cashier. Cashier's watching the dad push the cart out, and then looks at him. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Kid then does something that he never forgave his dad for. He pulled out his wallet and paid for the entire grocery haul with all the money he made that summer from mowing people's lawns. Here, this should cover it. He was saving up for a brand new bike. Worst part is, his dad never paid him back. That's messed up. All right, class. First, we dissect. Then, eat. This biology teacher had a side job as a chef, and apparently he was pretty good. Well, the kids in his biology class would frequently have these days, dissection days, where you would dissect frogs, cats, I don't know. But most of the time, the teacher would order a bunch of squid from the local market. The squid would be thawed out, raw, and passed out to every student. All right, you should all have a worksheet and a squid. You have 25 minutes. Get to dissect it. Everybody would dissect the squids. They would use the ink to write messages to each other. It sounds kind of fun. if you like that kind of stuff. But then the teacher would do something different. He would pull out a George Foreman portable grill from underneath his desk, plug it in, and preheat that baby. Then he would collect all these squids from each lab table, bring them up, season them, and toss them on the grill. Oh, it's smelling good. The first time he did this, the students thought he was absolutely insane. They're like, there's no way we're gonna eat that. But then someone tried it. Wait, that's actually good. Let me try. That is good. I guess the way he cooked this squid was just delectable, and they were constantly looking forward to these days. And although it sounds weird, I think that's a good feature. You ever go to a neighborhood garage sale and see somebody selling a vintage camera for like $5 when it's actually worth 500? Most people just let it happen, but not this kid. Yeah, he's 13, he's got a tablet, and he's running an appraisal firm in his neighborhood. You see, these families near his house, they have garage sales all the time, and they have no idea what they're selling. They're just clearing out their attics. Then the lowballers show up. Oh, that's a big box of Pokemon cards. How much? Oh, you can have them for $5, sweetie. Perfect. Well, you see, that's when the auditor would show up. He would walk up to a neighbor's garage sale and say, I don't want any of your money. I just want 10% of the extra cash you make. He then pulls out his tablet and he starts appraising every single item that these people are selling. He would check on eBay to see the realistic price. Sir, this camera's worth $200 and you're selling it for $3. What? Oh my God, really? That's so good to know. Imagine a guy trying to pay $5 for an old dusty lamp. Yeah, that sounds fair. Actually, that's a mid-century original lamp. It sold for $85 yesterday on eBay. You can have it for $60. People pay. By the end of the day, he would make $100 in commission without having to sell a single item. And the neighbors he's helping are so grateful. And honestly, I never thought about this, but it's genius. And this time I definitely gotta say, respect the hustle. This is what happens when your math teacher sucks. This guy's kid is in 4th grade, and she's been having trouble in math. The whole year she's struggled, but when they got to multiplication and division, she struggled even more. I just don't understand it, Dad. I know, let's just try it again. The thing is, she just doesn't understand the method they're teaching, and it doesn't sound easy. So for multiplying, it's a bunch of steps. You break up the numbers, you draw boxes, then you multiply and then add them together. Something like that. And she gets these problems wrong like 90% of the time. So the dad's like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you the way that I learned how to do multiplication. She's like, okay. And guess what? Oh, Dad, I understand it. She under-frickin-stands it. Homework is a million times easier now because she learned it and she's actually solving the problems. Well, here's the issue. His daughter had a math test a few weeks ago and she came home very upset. Dad, I failed. What? Let me see your test. She got a 50%, even though she only got 2 problems wrong. Technically, it should have been a 92%. So he goes into school and he has a conversation with the teacher. Can you explain why my daughter failed? The teacher says, yes, it's because she didn't use the method that I taught in this class. Excuse me? The dad pointed out that the test just says to show you work. It doesn't say to use a specific method. But she said, well, that's too bad. I taught my method to these students for a reason. Your daughter didn't use it. So she fails. Oh, the dad was furious. He went to the principal. He admits that he made it a pretty big deal. What are you guys teaching in the school, huh? Some bogus way to do multiplication? It's so much easier than that. Now my daughter's failing even though she got a 92% on the test. Except with a lot more yelling. The principal called the teacher in and forced her to change the girl's grade to an A. The principal then apologized to the dad and said, it won't happen again. Better not. But for real, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The biggest loss of aura in school history. This kid built his whole reputation off of basketball. He wasn't on the team, but he would always say he was really good. He carried a basketball around with him everywhere. Hey, what's up, guys? At lunch or in class, whenever he was chilling, he would be spinning the ball on his finger. Yo, check this out. Cool, huh? And people did think it was cool. And he would always say, oh, I don't want to be on the basketball team. Too much commitment. I just play in my backyard. Oh, okay. Yeah, the team is trash though anyway. Then the pep rally comes up. The principal goes, alrighty students, now it's time for the free throw challenge. Let's get somebody who's not on the team up here. See what you can do. And everybody volunteers this kid. Hey, come on, man. He'll do it. Yeah. He'll totally do it. The entire school knows him, so the entire gym is cheering so loudly. This kid gets up there. He's already got a basketball with him. Right. Takes his first shot. And he misses. Crowd's like, what? He brushes it off. It's a joke. It's a joke. Give me the ball. Misses again. And again. And again. He can't make one hoop. Now the cheers stopped. And the laughing began. Everyone's yelling at him, calling him a fraud. calling him a loser. Dude, you actually suck. He sucks. Kid begins crying. He was all talk, forever. Everyone thought he was a basketball god. Turns out, he's trash. He runs out of the gym, and he never comes to school with a basketball ever again. The principal's toupee gets stolen during school. And within minutes, everybody knows, and everybody's joking about it. Dude, Mr. Killman looks so dumb. Kids were whispering in the hallways, even teachers were trying not to laugh. And whenever he walks down the hallway, people pull their phones out to record him. He's humiliated. He's trying to act normal, but he's falling apart like a sad little puppy. And for a second, you almost feel bad for him. But then you remember, yesterday he called you into his office. He thought you were involved in a fight that you weren't involved in. So you're in there, and he's just going in. Now, don't you lie to me. I know you were involved in this. You're a horrible student. I knew the second that you got here, you were gonna cause trouble. And I bet your grades suck, don't they? Let's look them up. You know what? I'm not gonna look them up. I'm just gonna send you home to your horrible mom. You know, she was in my class when I taught here years ago, and she was horrible then too. Get out of here. Pretty brutal. And here's one more thing. You know exactly where the toupee is because you saw the kid that stole it. He secretly hid it behind the trophy case. Nobody else knew. And that kid is definitely not coming forward, so now it's only you. You could grab it, hand it back to him, be the bigger man, and maybe the principal will treat you differently, or you could destroy the toupee and let him be humiliated for the rest of the day. What would you do? Every kid has a moving out phase. On this day, this kid's mom was yelling at him, telling him to clean his room, eat his broccoli, normal stuff. But he got fed up. Fine, if my room is so messy, I'm moving out. And he expected his mom to cry and be like, no, don't move out, I'm so sorry. The mom just said, okay, the suitcase is in the attic. Suddenly, she called his bluff. Okay, I'm gonna go get it. He knows she called his bluff, but he wants to see how far he can take it, so he starts packing. Then suddenly, the mom is helping him pack. Oh, don't forget your toothbrush, honey. I'll even drive you to the end of the street if you want. I'll pack you a sandwich too, so you don't starve tonight. No, it's fine, I'll walk. Now, 5 minutes later, this kid's standing at the edge of the driveway with his suitcase full of random stuff his mom helped him pack. His mom locked the front door. Close the garage. Kid begins to walk away, hoping that they're watching him, hoping they'll beg for him to come back. But they don't. So he turns around, knocks on the door. Oh, hi, sweetie. Did you forget something?
I don't want to move out, Mom. I'll clean my room.
The room gets cleaned in record time. Has this ever happened to any of you guys? He slept through every single math class. The teacher talking, he was asleep. Putting notes up on the board, dude was knocked out. Everybody got used to seeing him face down on his desk. Well, one day the teacher was absolutely sick of this. I'm absolutely sick of this. One morning, the teacher stopped in the middle of the class and he wrote a complicated problem on the board. He then told the person sitting next to this kid, hey, Billiards, wake him up. They wake up, man. The teacher then says this. Since you've been paying attention so closely all class, solve this problem for me. You have 4 minutes. The whole class is waiting for this kid to get embarrassed. He immediately walks up to the board. He's still exhausted. He takes the marker. He begins writing. 3 seconds later, he says, done. The teacher's like, yeah, no way. Let's see. It was perfect. The kid sits back down and puts his head right back on the desk. A few days later, the teacher tries again. Wake him up. I got a really hard one this time. Bro, 273.67. That's correct. It becomes a thing. He tried a few more times before he just stopped bothering him. Just let him sleep throughout every single class because he always got A's on the test and he always did his homework. So why can't the kid sleep? Yeah, it's 2 weeks till senior graduation. That kid decides he's gonna pull a prank that nobody will ever forget. Most senior pranks involve balloons, sticky notes, baby oil. Well, this dude somehow gets his hands on an actual beehive. It was in my backyard. I put it in the trash bag. And his genius plan is to bring it to school and release it. Okay, well, that's actually so dangerous. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the punchline's supposed to be here. Kid with a bee allergy having to be taken to the hospital? Who knows? He ties up the garbage bag that the beehive's in and he throws it over his shoulder. And he gets on the bus, mister. He's thrown on the bus, everything's fine at first. Then a kid noticed a bee. Oh God, there's a bee in here. Then there was another one. Oh God, there's another bee in here. Then another, then another, then another. The senior kid is like, oh my God. The bees had buzzed their way through this garbage bag. And now the beehive is open. The next 30 seconds were complete and utter craziness. Kids screaming, people hiding underneath the bus seats, but everybody was getting stung. And yes, there were kids in the bus that were allergic to bees, and yes, they had to go to the hospital. The funny part is, when the bus driver first noticed all these bees, he put the bus in park and left the bus. Ah! But then he realized he's in charge of these kids. I gotta go back. And he drives the bus to a nearby hospital, and they take it from there. But they found out who brought the beehive in, and he wasn't able to graduate. But that makes sense, because what a dumb prank. This kid came back from summer break like 4 inches taller. Hey, what's up, guys? And everybody noticed immediately. Bro, what happened to you? Yeah, you're like tall now. And he just says, growth spurt. The thing is, he had been the short kid forever. So now he's walking different, he's feeling different. He's standing straighter, he's talking in class, making jokes. People are complimenting him constantly. And he's popular now. But then a few months later, it's gym class. Everyone's playing kickball outside, and this kid is taking it seriously. He's talking trash. Nice shot, idiot. What's up? I'm gonna win. Well, he's up, and the ball gets rolled towards him. He takes one big kick, and his shoe flies off. Oh no. Now that's not a big deal, but then he had to go get his shoe. At first, everyone's like laughing, like, your shoe fell off, no big deal. But as he begins to walk towards his shoe, they notice that he's limping. Yo, bro, why are you limping? You good? Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll get my shoe. Wait, hold on. What the heck? Everyone runs over. They pin this dude down in the grass and they pull his other shoe off. Let me see these other shoes. What? Inside his shoes are these giant 4-inch height inserts, like full elevator platforms. These were the things that were making him taller. I can explain. Yeah, so can we. You're a loser. And the rest of the year after that, kids were brutal to him. Kind of feel bad, but you guys, doesn't matter how short or tall you are, just rock it.
ও সরি, আমি আমার কাকে কি বলি? তুমি তো আমার 1 লক্ষ টাকা বেতনের চাকরি করো না, তুমি কি হয়ে দিবা?
আমি বুঝি আমার মেয়ের সিকিউরিটি। শোনো, তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে একটা, কিন্তু আমি এখানে এক মুহূর্ত আর থাকবো না। আমার এখানে দম বন্ধ হয়ে মারা যাবো আমি।
শৈলী রাতে বাড়িতে চলে এসেছে। তাছাড়া
তুমি যাচ্ছ বিপরীতে, আবেগ বাড়ছে বহুগুণ।
ভাই আজকে না ভাই, বুঝছেন কাজের চাপ বেশি আর বাসায় ফিরতে হবে। সিঙ্গেল মোড
মানে পরিচিত কোনো আদার্স ভালো অপশন যদি থাকে সেখানেও আমাকে একটু রেফার করেন।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তুমি প্যারা নিও না।
ওইভাবেই বাবার সাথে কথা বলবো। এখন তুমি কি বলো বলো, কিন্তু এখন আমাদের একটা সুস্থ জীবনে ফিরে আসা উচিত, একটা নর্মাল লাইফ লিড করা উচিত।
না হলে না হবে, আমার কোনো প্যারা নাই তো। আরে চাকরিটা
আর কত বলবো তোরে?
শোনো মা, প্রোগ্রাম আছে, ওটা শেষ করেই আসবে, আমাকে বলেছে, কথা হয়েছে।
আর আসছে যেমন ছেলে।
হ্যাঁ বাবা।
সবসময় কি পাওয়াতেই সুখ? তোমার গল্পটা না হয় না পাওয়াতেই হলো, তাতে ক্ষতি কি?
অনেক কথায় মুখর আমায় দেখো।
আমি ওকে ভালোবাসি বাবা।
আমি জানি তুই ওকে ভালোবাসিস। ও সুস্থ থাকলে তো কোনো কথাই ছিল না।
জুতায় গাড়ি করতেছে তোর। ও জোড়া আকাশ থেকে নেমে এলো ছোট্ট একটি প্লেন, আমি কুচলে মেরে চলে গিয়া ওর লুকাতে হবে। পালাও।
বুঝেছি, কবিগুরু বলছে যে বুঝাইলে নাকি বিপদ হয়। আমার বিপদ হয়ে গেছে, জুতো চুরি হয়ে গেছে আমার। যখন টাকা হবে তখন নিয়ে যাবো, তারপর সেই জাহাজ নামাবো কোথায় জানো? সমুদ্রে। আমি পাগল মাছ আমি এটা খেলে কি তোমাকে মারবা?
না, তুমি তো খাচ্ছ, আমি কি তোমাকে মারতেছি?
কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর বলেছেন সব ষড়যন্ত্র এই মির্জাফরের।
বাবা বারবার বলতেছে কারো জানি কেউ মারছে, একটু সাহস হয়েছে নাকি?
জানি না।
জানি না মানে? আমি তো ভাবলাম একটু একটু বেড়েছে, তা না হলে এখানে ডাকলে।
একটা ভালোবাসাকে, একটা সম্পর্ককে, আমার আসলে দুটো নারী থেকে একটা নারীকে বেছে নিতে হয়েছে।
যেখানে কোনো সম্ভাবনা নেই সেখানে আপনার জীবন জড়িয়ে নষ্ট করে কি লাভ?
আমার একটা মা আছে, হ্যাঁ, মার কোলের ভিতরে তো বসে থাকি, দায়িত্ব অনেক। তোর তো কিছুই ঠিক নাই, তুই আমার সাথে আয় তো আমার সাথে আয় না। এক মিনিট আপনার একটা মাস্টার্স কোর্স করছো? ওয়াই, হোয়াট ইজ দিস ম্যান? ওই স্মোক করবো, আই হ্যাভ স্মোক।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, কিচ্ছু করতে হবে না, আমি গোসল করে দেবো, শান্ত ছেলের মতো বসে থাকবা। হ্যাঁ, প্রমিস?
কবিগুরু বলেছেন ভাবুন, আমি হাঁটতে যাবো, আমার পেট বড় হয়ে যাবে না হলে।
তোর সুখের জন্য আমি সব করতে পারি, তুই তুই এভাবে ভেঙে পড়িস না। তুই ভেঙে পড়লে আমার খুব কষ্ট হয়।
আচ্ছা, চোখের গভীরতা কতটুকু পেলে?